Yes, good morning. We are going to start today a very important topic from your syllabus, paper number 9, inorganic chemistry. So far, 5 topics were included in our syllabus, amongst which we have finished the first topic, metal ligand bonding in transition metal complexes. Second topic that we have finished is a catalysis. Today we are going to study a very important topic from the examination point of view is the metals, semiconductors and superconductors. In this topic, we are going to study initially at the beginning the introduction, that is the introductory part of this topic. Then we are going to study regarding the physical properties which are associated with the metals. Then we are going to study what is the type of bonding that exists in different metals under the title the theories of bonding in metals, where we are going to study two important theories. Both the theories are very important from examination. That is a free electron theory and another theory that is a molecular orbiting theory, or what we call as a band theory of metals. Then we are going to study about the classification of solids such as conductors, insulators, and semiconductors on the basis of the band theory of metals. Then we are going to study about the semiconductors, where we are going to study the different types of semiconductors, the intrinsic and extrinsic type of semiconductors, and the different applications of these semiconductors in brief. Then we are going to study a very important aspect of this topic, that is known as the superconductors. We are going to study how a superconductor can be prepared on laboratory scale under the title ceramic semiconductors. In this regard, we are going to study how YBA2CU3O7, that is ceramic 123 semiconductor, it is generally abbreviated as ceramic 123 semiconductor. And lastly, we are going to study about the applications of these superconductors. So these aspects that we are going to cover today in this topic in the due course of time. In the beginning of this topic, we are going to study about the different physical properties of the metals. As we know that the metals are characterized by a set of physical properties. Whatever properties those are attributed to metal, those wholly depends upon the physical properties of metal which are exhibited. Let us take a brief account of all these physical properties which are associated with the metals. I would like to enlist here some 9 different properties which are associated with the metals. And because of these physical properties, the metals are nowadays are very much important, whether it is a field of construction or whether it is the research or other industries where all the metals are used. The first property that we are going to study is the crystal structure. Then we are going to study about the high electrical conductivity of these metals. Then we are going to study another physical property, that is the thermal conductivity of metals. Then we are going to study the metallic luster. Then the emissivity, that is the emission of electrons. Then a very important property of metals that is exhibited is the malleability and ductility. Then the sonority, the property that is known as a sonority. Then the magnetic property of metal. And lastly, we are going to study the high tensile strength which is exhibited by these metals. As we know that a matter is something that we see that consists of solid particles. Particularly if we, with regard to metals, if we see, then two types of uh, crystal structures, those are exhibited by metals. The first type of crystal structure is a granular, crystalline, and another is known as a amorphous. In amorphous type of crystals, the structure somewhat, it is somewhat irregular structure, while the crystalline type of structure, it is having a definite structure. With regard to the amorphous and crystalline structure, the metals are to be studied with regard to the crystal structure. If we want to study what is in brief a crystal structure, or what we call as a crystal lattice, there are two different words. Those are attributed to crystal structure or crystal lattice. Crystal lattice or crystal structure, both meaning the same. Crystal structure is nothing but where the regularity in the arrangement of the constituent units is quite regular. We can find that there is a regularity in the arrangement of the building units, what we call as atoms, ions, or molecules. If the regularity of these atoms, ions, or molecules, which constitutes a solid metal, if it is a regular, then that regular geometrical structure is known as a crystal structure or crystal lattice. The distinctive properties of metals that wholly depends upon the crystal structure. Metals have comparatively high melting points. This is again indirectly attributed to the strong bonding existing between the metal atoms. Also, they are having high thermal and electrical conductivity. All these properties which are associated with the metals are again correlated with the crystal structure, or what we call as a crystal lattice. Perhaps you might be knowing that there are different types of crystal structures exhibited by either of these metals. These crystal structures may be either FCC, or what we call as a CCP, face-centered cubic, or cubic closed type of arrangement, CCP or FCP. Another type of arrangement is known as the BCC, or it is known as body-centered cubic structure. And one more type is there, that is known as a HCP, that is known as a hexagonal closed pack type of arrangement. So if we want to show all these packing type of arrangement, where we have observed the distinctive properties which are associated with this crystal structure, if we want to show, then one can show this as, just see here the diagrammatic representation that I am going to show here. The first aspect of this topic that is we are going to study is a physical properties of metals. Now, the physical properties of metals that I have just now mentioned, that there are 9 different physical properties are there, amongst which the first property that just now I have mentioned is a crystal structure. The crystal structure, as we know, that most of the distinctive properties of metals, they are related with this crystal structure. So the distinctive properties which are on account of this crystal structure, that just now I have mentioned, that there are 3 different types of crystal structure exhibited by the metals. For example, if we want to show in simpler terms, then this is the first structure that I am going to show. This is known as the FCP, or it is also known as the CCP type of arrangement, where this regular cube has 8 corners, which I am showing. These solid dots indicates that there are atoms which are present at the 8 corners. And this is the face which is facing at the top. This is the face again facing at the sideway. This is another side of this cube, and this is the bottom side of this cube, and this is the back side face, and this is the front side face. So Such type of arrangement where this arrangement leaves no empty space is known as a face-centered cubic or cubic closed type of arrangement, where such type of arrangement can be observed in the metals such as copper, silver, and gold. And these are the some metals where such type of arrangement is observed, that is known as FCP or CCP, face-centered cubic or cubic closed type of arrangement. The second type of arrangement, just see here again a diagrammatic representation. Here, if we draw a perfect cube like this, then in some solids or some metallic type of crystals, a BCC type of arrangement that is observed. For example, lithium, sodium, and potassium. These are known as alkali metals, where the BCC type of arrangement is observed. What is the BCC type of arrangement? Where a atom that is present at the center and which is surrounded by these 8 atoms which are in a cube. So these 8 atoms which are surrounded by the central place atom, one atom that is present at the center of the body. So if we consider this is a whole body, then an atom that is present at the center of the body is known as a body-centered cubic, as it is a cubic structure. So such type of arrangement has been observed in the metals, that is the alkali metals, first A group elements, lithium, sodium, potassium. There is one more crystal structure that is observed here, that is known as the hexagonal closed type of arrangement. So if I draw two hexagons and if I join all these corners like this, then this particular arrangement looks like somewhat hexagonal closed pack type of arrangement, which is known as a HCP type of arrangement, where two hexagons were observed. One is at the top, another at the bottom. Such an arrangement of crystals is known as a hexagonal closed type of arrangement. This type of arrangement is observed in the crystals such as beryllium, magnesium, and scandium. All these are the D block elements, either D block elements, for example, scandium or beryllium, magnesium. These are the alkaline earth metals belonging to second A group of the periodic table. So just now I have mentioned that the distinctive properties of metals only depends upon the crystal structure, where we can find that there is a regularity in the arrangement of the building units, which what we call as the atoms, ions, or the molecules. So in all such type of crystals, we can find that there is a regularity in the arrangement of the building units. So this is known as the crystal structure. Now the second distinctive property that I would like to mention here is a high electrical conductivity. As we know that almost all the metals are the good conductors of electricity. What is the reason for to have the metals to have the high electrical conductivity? Suppose, for example, if we take for instance a piece of metal like this, where we can find that a positively charged metal ions are there like this. I have shown here part of this the metal piece of metal, where the mobile electrons are also present in between the gaps of this crystal lattice. Now, if we apply an electrical potential across such crystal which contains a regularity in the arrangement of these building units, then on application of electrical potential, the electrons which are mobile electrons which are known as a mobile or movable electrons. These mobile or movable electrons on application of an electrical potential, these electrons, as those are negatively charged particles, hence they move to a positive terminal. Here, as the electrons move from this crystal lattice on application of electrical potential to positive terminal, because electrons are negatively charged, in doing so or in moving so, these electrons can conduct the electricity. The conduction of electricity wholly depends upon the number of mobile or valence electrons which are present inside the crystal. What is this number of mobile electrons? If a particular crystal has less number of electrons, then the current conduction by such metals or such solids is also less on account of lesser number of mobile electrons are there. If the mobile electrons are more, then current conduction that is carried out by such crystal is also more. For example, if we take for instance the metals such as sodium, it is having the electronic configuration as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 and 3s2. Sorry, yes, it is 3s1. This sodium has only one mobile or valence electron. So the current conduction done by sodium metal is comparatively less. If we move for magnesium having atom number 12, it is having the outermost electronic configuration is 3s2. Now, here, if we compare the current conduction by sodium and magnesium, then magnesium is having number of mobile electrons which are again increased by 1 unit as compared to sodium, and hence the current conduction in case of magnesium is more as compared to sodium because number of mobile electrons are more. If we move for aluminum, then it is having the electronic configuration as 3s2 and 3p1. Here, the number of valence electrons which are present in aluminum are 3. So, sodium is having 1 valence electron, magnesium is having 2 valence electrons, and aluminum is having 3 valence electrons. So, the current conduction carried by sodium, magnesium, and aluminum. Here, this increases as the number of valence electrons increases. So, aluminum crystal can carry more current. So, they are having high electrical conductivity, and this entirely depends upon the number of valence electrons which are present in the crystal lattice. So, more the number of mobile or valence electrons, more will be the electrical conductivity. The third property that is known as the high thermal conductivity. We know that metals they also have a high thermal conductivity. Again, for example, if we take for instance a piece of metal where positive metal ions are there, and in addition to the negatively charged electrons are also there. This is part of this crystal structure. So, if we heat a metal at one end, if we heat a piece of metal and at one end, the another end becomes hot. Here, this the reason for this is that metals by far the best are good conductors of heat. This is because again attributed to the mobile electrons. So if we heat the metal at one end, then the electrons which are present near to this point, these electrons absorb the heat and they collide on the adjacent electrons. That means these electrons, when they absorb the heat, they become more mobile because the electrons inside the crystal lattice are mobile. But on application of heat, these mobile electrons become more mobile by absorbing heat. In doing so, they collide on the adjacent electrons. And this process continues, and because of which the transportation of heat is carried out from one end to another end. So, in fact, here, if we heat this particular metal piece at this end, other end becomes hot. This is because of the transportation of heat from one end to another end. So, this is again attributed to the total number of mobile electrons. So, if we compare again and with regard to the sodium, magnesium, and aluminum, then in this case, aluminum is a good conductor of heat because aluminum contains 3 valence electrons, magnesium contains 2 valence electrons, and sodium contains only 1 valence electron. So, if the number of valence electrons increases, the heat conducted by all such electrons that is also more. So, aluminum conducts more heat as compared to sodium and magnesium. Now, the fourth property that is known as the metallic luster. This is very important property that is exhibited by the metals. We know that most of the metals, they are extremely shiny or bluish appearance. The shining nature, the shining nature of the metals is again attributed to the electrons which are present in the metallic crystals. Here it is showing again, only 10 minutes are left. We are going to continue again by clicking the same link. So after 10 minutes. So the metallic luster is nothing but the shiny appearance of metal is known as the metallic luster. The reason for this is that we know that all metals are typically have a lustrous shiny appearance. We know this is because when light falls on the surface of the metal, it seems that the light is being reflected. For example, if we take for instance, this is a piece of metal, when this is an incident ray of light, when this light falls on this clean surface of metal, this light appears to be reflected, and this reflection is known as the metallic luster. In terms of chemistry, if we want to explain what is this metallic luster, then one can explain that the reflectivity is known as a luster. In other words, it may be said that when a beam of light that falls on the clean surface, the mobile electrons move to some excited state, and when these excited electrons they jump back to the ground state, during this jumping of the excited electrons to ground state, they emit all wavelength of light, and this is known as the metallic luster. So the shiny appearance of metal is again due to the excitement of the electrons from the surface of the metal and again jumping back to the ground state. In doing so, they emit light of all wavelength, and hence the nature that is observed is a lustrous nature. So when these electrons again come to ground state, they emit the light of all wavelengths, and because of which the surface appears to be shiny. The fifth characteristic is known as the emissivity. This is also very important characteristic exhibited by the metals. What is this emissivity? In brief, emissivity is nothing but it is the emission of electrons. So, emission of electrons takes place by two ways. The first way, by heating the metal, or when light falls on the metallic surface, the electrons are emitted. That means if the piece of metal, if it is heated to a very high temperature, then under such circumstances the metal emits electrons. So because the electrons are emitted by heating the metals, and hence it is known as the thermionic emission. This is known as a thermionic emission. So the thermionic emission of electron directly refers to the emission of electrons by supplying the heat. So when the metals are heated to a high temperature, they emit the electrons. This is known as a thermionic emission. The emission of electron, they also take place when the light that is falls on the clean metallic surface. So when the electrons are emitted just by falling the light on the metallic surface, the electrons are emitted. This is known as the photoelectric effect. This is known as a photoelectric effect. The word photo that refers to the light, and the word Thermionic or thermo means heat. So here the property that is known as the photoelectric effect, such property that is used, or this principle used in photoelectric cells, and perhaps you might have heard that the solar system, in these solar systems this particular property is used, and the thermionic rods which are used in different instruments where such type of property, that is thermionic emissions, are used, which are known as thermionic valves. So the emission of electrons that takes place by two ways. One is the emission of electrons with the help of a heat is known as a thermionic emission, and when the electrons are emitted because of the light, it is known as a photoelectric effect or photoelectric principle. Then the sixth characteristic, which is very important, is known as malleability and ductility. You might have heard these two words, or you may be familiar with these two words. Malleability, the word it is actually a Greek word, the word malleus. Malleus means hammer. Perhaps you might be knowing hammer. So certain metals which are flattened into sheet, or they may be given a particular shape, that is known as a malleability of the metal, and ductility, that the metals may be brought into wires. So when the wires are brought from the metals, this property is known as a ductility. So these are the two very important properties which are associated with the metals, which makes these metals are very important for the construction materials. So the construction materials, or almost all the construction materials, those are used because of these two important properties, that is malleability and ductility. Then the seventh property is known as the sonority. Perhaps you might have carried out one experiment at your BSc 1 level, that is sonometer in physics. That sonority is nothing but certain metals are sonorous. That means these metals, they can produce different or specific sound when are stuck with hard material. So because of stucking of the metals with hard materials, they produce a specific sound. That property is known as a sonority. With regard to this sonority, uh, I would like to give you one example of the bell that is present in the temple. The bell that is made up of the bronze material. Bronze is nothing but it is an alloy of copper and zinc. So these are the two metals which are combined together so as to form the alloy that is known as a brass. So in temple, the brass material, when we hit with the help of this the suspended pendulum, then a specific sound that is produced. This property is known as a sonority. Then the eighth property is known as the magnetic property, or what we call as a magnetism. Magnetic property means, or the magnetism is nothing but almost all metals are paramagnetic because they contain one or more unpaired electrons. So paramagnetism is due to presence of unpaired electrons which are present in the metals. So most of these metals, they contain unpaired electrons in their atoms or ions, and hence they show the property what is known as the magnetism. And the last property, that is known as the tensile strength or high tensile strength. As we know, almost all the heavy machinery that is made up of these metals, and it is the outcome of the high tensile strength. So the tensile strength means the metals have very high tensile strength. That is, metals can resist the stretching without breaking. So they can withstand the stretching force, and they become more tensile, and this is attributed to strong electrostatic force of attraction between the positively charged metal ions and negatively charged electrons. So this is how we have seen the 9 different properties. So less than 1 minute is left. So we have to again rejoin after some time. So you have to click this link once again.